Hi guys, welcome back to the Spend Your Money Well mountain bike podcast. Today we'll be talking about if you're going to spend money, a lot of money, how to spend it well. Everybody loves spending money, and if you have the cash to throw around, mountain biking is one of the best places to put it because you get the coolest gear, the new fancy stuff, and people will stop and turn their heads and be like, wow, that guy knows his stuff. There's a lot of stuff out there. And when it comes to spending your money a lot, like this edition, you know by the title and the thumbnail, that you're going to be spending some money if you're watching this and you're considering doing this. So this isn't like the other ones I can do. This is if you're actually going to buy fancy components. But I'm going to tell you what to get, what to avoid. Obviously, you could just go and buy the most expensive thing you can get. But even when you're spending tons of money, the most expensive thing doesn't mean the best thing. And here I'm going to tell you what some things that you should get that are super high end, but they're even better than the super expensive ones that you can get for like $500 more. What you can even spend even more money on, and what to just avoid. So yeah, this is going to be a pretty cool section. And if you're thinking about this, then once all these arrive or you get your new mountain bike, it's going to be pretty cool. Okay, so let's start with what should you upgrade? I mean, the no-brainer for me is going to be suspension. Suspension is probably one of the biggest parts of how a mountain bike rides and feels, and it can be the difference between you bombing through tight technical sections, sending it on the jumps, crawling through that steep tech, or, So what upgrades do you actually need for your suspension? There's a lot of suspension out there, and as I said in my first video, that solid suspension is exactly that, solid suspension. But there are some new ones that are super cool. Okay, so the two obvious ones that you're going to spend your money on or looking into is going to be the RockShox, the Ultimate series, and the Fox Factory series. You can get higher than that, but these are just great. And if you're just looking for something high-end, you don't want anything super complicated, these are the tired and true components. These are like the mainstream forks and rear shocks. Just spend your money on these, and they're good value. They're expensive, but yeah, you'll feel it. Maybe it's not the most if you're upgrading from Performance Elite or Select Plus, but this is just super, super good. Now, if that's as far as you want to go, that's good, but I'm going to tell you some more tips and tricks because there's some new stuff that's come out. The first one, we got to look at this, but the Fox Podium. That, I'm sure you've seen that, and that fork is a new and upcoming phenomenon. And yeah, you've probably seen all the reviews on it, and I'll tell you this, if you don't want to go through that, it's expensive, it's heavy, but everything about it is amazing. So if you really, really want to get the best that you can, don't mind about the little bit of extra weight, get the Fox Podium. It's actually quite good if you're going to spend your money to skip the factory and just go to the Podium if you just want the best of the best. That fork will be awesome. I can't say it's for everybody, but if you want to look further, you want to get that posh downhill performance, then go for the Fox Podium. It's only available in factory. Apparently they say it's in Performance Elite, but I couldn't find no evidence of that. Okay, now moving on to RockShox, they have the Flight Attendant, which is like electronic suspension, and that suspension you'll have to buy in a pair. So it's the ultimate on all their forks except for the Boxer, which is the downhill fork. And this is like the electronic suspension. Fox makes it too, but we'll talk about that later. And is it worth it? If you really just want to get the best time and you just want to feel super good on the descents and then just don't care about spending lots of money or the noise, because it is a bit noisier. You'll have to read the reviews on that all. But especially in XC, this will make a big difference. Remember, this is all my opinion. Next, we move on to Fox, and which is their Live Valve series. And this, they only make rear shocks, but they're quieter. And they work quite well, but one caveat for enduro riders is that they don't make the DHX2, which is Fox's flagship enduro and downhill float and coil. They don't make that. They only make DHX, which is a all-mountain, and Float X, which is trail-ishy, and the cross-country one, which I don't know much about because I'm not a cross-country rider. And that is really good, and it works super well. And read the reviews, it's super good. It's expensive, of course, if you're spending your money on electronic suspension. You are looking for, you don't want to fuss with climb switches. You just want to go up and down, hit the flat sections, carry tons of speed, climbing as efficient as possible. And remember, if you pair the Fox rear electronic suspension with the fork, Foxes make forks up front with electronics, so remember that. And you can put the Float X on enduro models, which is what a lot of people do and a lot of racers do, but it just won't have the level of like dampening and maybe the same performance as something that's a true tired and true enduro race and downhill float. Okay, next we can move on to electronic shifting. This is a big one. When people think of upgrading the drivetrain, they think of electronic shifting. So I'll be using SRAM for this example because that's kind of the one I know, and I'll be using enduro in this sense. Okay, so I'm going to say An upgrade, a good strong upgrade would be GX Axis. It's heavy though, but it is electronic and it is super smooth. But I'd say if you're really going for that upgrade, don't go XX unless you're an XC racer, which you can even go XXSL, but that's getting too far into the nitty gritty. But it is carbon, so for enduro, it might not be the best choice because, carbon snaps. So I'd say go XO, which is literally the same thing as XX, just a tiny bit heavier. It's aluminum, and it is amazing. It is super expensive too, but you're paying like an extra $1,000 for XX. So I'd say this is the standard for high-performance enduro, so you can't go wrong with this one. I'd get it. Of course, remember, SRAM, Shimano, there's that big battle, so choose which one you want, choose a different drivetrain. But I just say that it's a great upgrade, and if you're really looking to spend some money, get that. And remember, if you really like to shift under load, the SRAM is amazing, and if you want fast shifting, get Shimano. But that's just now. I'm not going to compare the two brands. Next, we can move on to wheels. If you're looking at getting carbon wheels, remember it can be a bit finicky with the axles and getting that to fit. But carbon wheels are stiffer, and depending on your style, they may be amazing. You may hate them. You may crack them. You may crack an $800 wheel. But if you want that, then go ahead and spend it because they'll be lighter, especially for things that get lighter, like the lighter bikes that you want light. I talked on this on my last video, but XC especially, get carbon. Okay, and finally, brakes. Brakes aren't as pricey as some other upgrades that you can make to your bike, but they are obviously one of the most fundamental parts of how the bike rides and feels. And obviously, you'll be buying brakes that are mainstream. And you have a couple of options here to upgrade your performance. So when we're talking brakes, we're talking brake upgrades. We're thinking mainly three things. 1, stopping power. 2, weight. 3, heat management, how well they keep heat or how well they retain heat, and also feel, because feel is a big one. So when you're looking for a brake upgrade, you want to tell yourself, are you looking for a better quality, a more durable brake, one that's lighter, one that has a better feel, or do you just want more stopping power? Like if a bike comes with 2 pistons, what do you want? So once you know that, you can go and you can see what types of brakes there are, what offers better weight, what offers better power and feel. Like SRAM Mavens, ton of power, but they're also heavier, versus Shimano XDRs, which are super light but not as much power. But you search it up yourself. So I hope you've enjoyed this second podcast in my series. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and I'll be making another one soon. And thank you, so stay tuned.